Hey, chapter 10, 15 minutes earlier in Zara's room. Now, the room that Zara returned to was in a very different state than the one he had left it only 15 minutes earlier. Bad things have been happening in Zara's room. Oh dear, these bad things have been happening to Wish and to Bodkin, the sprites and the animals who've all been locked in that room by Zara, if you remember. Very, very bad things. In order to explain them, I will have to go back in time exactly 15 minutes. Of course, in real life, turning back time is impossible. I think I've already mentioned that. But contrary-wise, I can do it, for I am the god of this story, and thus I have rather more magic than is, strictly speaking, rather quite good for me. Imagine Zara's room 15 minutes earlier. The spelling competition is going on down below, and Wish and Bodkin are watching it through the floor. You were in that very 15 minutes, and even now, very now, through the drenching rain and wildness, something is creeping up the fort walls with invisible, undetectable footsteps. That's the outside of Zara's room. Do you see? It's the tree, and there's a way in around on that balcony thing. Something is creeping up, something old and dark and very, very evil. It could be a Rogobreath looking to get its blood back. It could be a werewolf wanting Zara to join its pack. Or it could be something else. Normally, Wizard Camp would be entirely protected by an invisible barrier of magic that hung around the forest grove. But when Zara had taken the sword into the fort, the iron had tunnelled a hole into the magic. The path of the iron sword led up the tree trunk and into Zara's room, and such is the power of iron that anyone or anything taking the path the iron had taken would be undetected by the magic. Too bad, because the two feathers in the jacket Zara had left in his room were very gently, very minutely beginning to glow at the edges with a sickly greenish light. The Snowcats and Squeezjuice and Tiffenstorm and the bear had fallen into the deep sleep of those who had spent a nice old-fashioned day out in the fresh air, building witch traps and running through the bad woods. But something in the change of atmosphere made Bodkin and Wish look up from where they were kneeling on the invisible floor of Zara's room and stare around themselves, and with shivers of sick alarm. The enchanted spoon look is quivering with ooh. It's saying, oh yeah, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Was shaking his anxiety on Wish's head. Below them they could hear the sound of the spelling competition. But outside in the forest, the rain, the thunder and the lightning and the wind that had been sending Zara's bedroom plunging this and way and that as if a lunatic was rocking a baby's cradle stopped with surprising suddenness. The thunder ceased to be replaced by an eerie quietness, a silence as if the forest world surrounding them were leaning in to gaze at something unusual and frightening enclosed within its shut green fist. The only sound was the water dripping from the edges of the invisible spell above them. Drip, drip, drip. Wish could see right through the spell, up into the starry sky above, the branches of the trees strangely still as if painted against the dark sky. There was a coldness in the air that Wish had felt when they were being chased in the wood earlier that evening, a coldness that seeped into her. And to her horror, Wish could see the black feathers hanging inside Zara's empty jacket were lighting up with a queasy, pallid, yellow-green glow that passed steadily in and out as if in time with someone breathing. Wish's breath was so thick in her throat she thought she might choke. It was as if ants were crawling through her hair, sending each individual shaft shooting upwards in a thrill of horror. Above them both, the spell was like a piece of glass with the liquid of the rain already streaked across it. But was that something else, some shadow moving like a dream beyond the glass? A nauseating, undulating, greasy movement that blotted out the stars as it moved? Or was it just the bilious shadow of Wish's own imagination, the tired creation of her bloodshot eyes after a long and weary and frightening day? Wish was sure there was a dark shape moving glutinously behind the glass. At least she thought she was sure. What was that they said about witches? That they were invisible as ghosts, but they had to turn visible when they attacked, or else their hands passed through you as harmlessly as air? And then with absolute fear, she knew it was no mirage. Her painfully stretched ears definitely heard whispering in the invisibility above. Drip, drip, drip. Whisper, whisper, whisper. Wake up! Croaked Witch to the Snowcats and Squeegeous and Tiffenstorm in a strangled whisper. Wake up now! We have to get out of here. I'll have to have the next bit tomorrow. We'll see whether Wish was mistaken. She could be mistaken.